Detective Claire Harlow had learned long ago that nothing in Ravenwood stayed buried. Not secrets, not sins, not even bodies. The small coastal town looked picturesque on the surface. Cobblestone streets, white picket fences, fishermen hauling, nets at dawn. But beneath its calm veneer was a history soaked in blood. Claire was reminded of that history the morning she was called to the abandoned Fairmont mansion. The call came at 5:47 a.m. "We've got something," the dispatcher said. Voice shaky. "Teenagers broke into Fairmont. Found a body in the cellar." Claire had been awake already, staring at the ceiling fan turning shadows into blades. She grabbed her badge, her gun, and the ever-present flask of coffee that fueled her nights. When she reached the mansion, fog clung to the broken gates like a ghost refusing to leave. The house itself loomed above her, windows boarded up, vines curling around stone like skeletal fingers. Officers stood pale-faced near the entrance. Inside, a teenage girl sobbed quietly, her friends pacing nervously. Claire guided them out, then descended the creaking stairs into the cellar. Her flashlight cut through dust and cobwebs, landing on what she had feared, a young woman's body sprawled across the floor. She couldn't have been older than 25. Pale skin, dark bruises around her neck, eyes glassy with terror. A necklace glittered faintly on her chest, engraved with the initials LM. Claire's stomach sank. She knew those initials. "Laura Monroe," she whispered. The name still echoed through Ravenwood. Laura had disappeared 5 years ago, daughter of the town's mayor, and the case had gone cold despite Claire's obsession with it. Laura had been bright, ambitious, studying law, and engaged to one of the town's wealthiest heirs. Her vanishing had split the town in two, those who believed she ran away and those who believed something darker had swallowed her whole. Now Claire had proof. But proof brought danger. She photographed the body, carefully avoiding the blood smears on the walls. Someone had dragged her here, but why hide her in the mansion after all these years? As she stood, a noise broke the silence, a creak above her. Instinct kicked in. Gun drawn, she scanned the staircase, but only shadows stared back. By the time she reached the top floor, the front door swung open. Whoever had been there was gone, but muddy boot prints marked the floor. Later, in the station, Claire spread. Old files across her desk, photos of Laura, witness testimonies. She connected the dots again, searching for missed details. One name surfaced repeatedly. Ethan Blackwood, Laura's fiancé. A man with charm, wealth, and a family legacy tied to Ravenwood for centuries. But behind the polished smile, Claire had always sensed something sinister. Before she could pursue, the lead her phone buzzed. A distorted voice, low and threatening, rasped, "Detective Harlow, stop digging into Laura's case. If you don't, the next body they find will be yours." Claire sat frozen, the phone trembling in her grip. Anonymous threats weren't new, but this one felt personal. She replayed the voice in her mind. Was it masked, or had she heard it before? She didn't have time to dwell on it. She had to move fast. She visited the Monroe family estate that afternoon. Laura's mother, Eleanor, opened the door, eyes weary but sharp. "Detective," she murmured as if expecting her. Inside, the walls were lined with photographs of Laura, smiling, radiant, forever frozen in youth. "I need to ask about Ethan," Claire began. Eleanor stiffened. "Ethan was trouble," she whispered. "Laura wanted to call off the engagement. She told me the night before she vanished. She was scared of him, Detective. Truly scared. That detail had never been in the original files." Claire's pulse quickened. If Laura had tried to break free, Ethan had motive. On her way back, Claire's car was forced off the road by a black SUV. Tires screeched, glass shattered. She crawled out of the wreck, heart pounding, as the SUV sped away. The message was clear: back off. But instead of fear, rage fueled her. Whoever wanted to silence her underestimated just how stubborn she could be. That night she broke into the Blackwood estate. The mansion was silent, halls decorated with portraits of grim ancestors. In Ethan's private study, she found a hidden drawer. Inside lay a stack of letters, Laura's handwriting pleading for help. "He won't let me go. If anything happens to me, it was Ethan." Claire's hands shook as she read. Suddenly, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Claire ducked behind a bookshelf as Ethan Blackwood entered, phone pressed to his ear. His voice was calm, calculated. Yes, the body was found. No, she won't stop digging. If she gets too close, do it the same way we did Laura. Quiet. No loose ends. Claire's blood ran cold. She pressed her recorder, capturing every word. But then her phone vibrated, too loud in the silence. Ethan's head snapped around, their eyes met. "Detective Harlow," he drawled, a smile curling his lips. "Trespassing, are we?" Before she could react, two men emerged from the shadows, bodyguards closing in. They grabbed her arms, forcing her to the ground. Ethan crouched beside her, his cologne sharp, his whisper venomous. "You should have listened to the warning. Now you'll disappear like Laura did." They dragged her toward the basement. The air grew colder, the scent of mildew thick. Chains clattered against the walls. Claire fought, kicking, biting, managing to wrench free one arm. She slammed her elbow into a guard's jaw, grabbed his gun, and fired. The echo roared through the estate. One man fell. The other fled. Breath ragged, Claire stumbled back into the study, gun trained on Ethan. But he was gone. The window hung open, curtains swaying in the night breeze. He had escaped into the dark. The next days were a blur of manhunts, false leads, and mounting tension. Ethan had vanished, but his influence lingered. Ravenwood was divided again, half defending the Blackwood heir, half demanding justice. The town buzzed with fear. Claire released Laura's letters and the recording to the press. Headlines exploded. Murder cover-up in Ravenwood, mayor's daughter found dead, fiancé suspected. But even as truth spread, Claire knew Ethan was still out there, watching. Late one. Evening, she returned to her apartment. The door was ajar. Gun ready, she stepped inside. On her table lay a single item, Laura's necklace, the initials LM gleaming under the lamp, and beside it, a note in elegant handwriting. "You should have stayed in the shadows, detective." "This isn't over." The hairs on the back of her neck rose. She moved to the window, scanning the street below. A black SUV idled in the distance before melting into the fog. Claire tightened her grip on her weapon, heart steady despite the fear. Ravenwood's secrets weren't finished with her, and she wasn't finished with them. The hunt for Ethan Blackwood had only just begun.